Would you add emojis to spice up your resume? Millennials are changing up the job search, but some experts say there are other ways to get creative. The details next.
Well, are you looking for a job? Do you want to be working? Maybe you're working on your resume. You're trying to spice it up. So you add some color, you change up the text. But what about pictures? Maybe emojis, bitmojis. Some millennials out there are adding trendy icons to their resumes to try to be different and stand out. But experts say you probably want to avoid doing that.
Forget words, emojis are taking over. Just think of how many times a day you send out icons like this. But would you put one on your resume? Apparently some people do.
There's been a really big spike, especially in the last couple of years.
Nick Morrison with Potiri Talent says some job seekers try to show personality, but you may want to save that for real life, not a resume.
If somebody reads your resume and they see all these bitmojis or emojis, all these pictures and things over your resume, they may make a story that you just want to have fun, that it's all like fun and smiles and it's not necessarily productive or moving things forward.
Nick says a formal resume hasn't really changed, and those who are hiring are typically not emoji-loving millennials.
That's not their communication style, right? That's not how they communicate professionally.
So how do you craft the perfect resume? Nick showed us a handful of resumes, some good, some not.
So this is an example of what not to do. There's a lot going on here, and we don't really like this.
I don't even know where to start reading this.
And even if you have good eyesight, you'll need glasses to read it.
The most valuable content is sort of what they've been and what they've done is sort of shrunk in here, and it's just hard to even read and know what this person is up to.
From too much to not enough.
So putting these icons here, probably not a good idea.
Probably not a good idea. It doesn't add anything really to it. It sort of looks like she was like trying to fill space, essentially there. So like limited amount of experience, didn't necessarily know what to put on the page.
Nick says you need context. This resume just doesn't have it. But that doesn't mean you can't be creative. It all just depends on the job you're applying for.
So if you're in marketing and you're working for a company that's very vibrant and that's alive, you want to reflect that, within your resume. So it all just depends about the job.
Look at this resume. It has emojis. And Nick says, in this case, it works. The woman's applying for a social media gig.
It's not over the top, it's not in your face, it's not too much, but it's just done in a very sort of kind of elegant way that shows that she knows where to put them and where not to put them.
It's still easy to digest, just like this resume. It's more traditional, but has all the info you need, like work history, skills, and contact details.
So you like everything on this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's quick to read. I can get through this resume in 60 seconds and know exactly who that person is.
Nick says you want your resume to be visually appealing, but most of the time, basic is better.
Color is difficult in order to translate, and so just be very careful with color. In some accounting departments are sort of very, very black and white, and sort of have a very colorful resume. It doesn't have anything to do with the job.
If the job you're applying for isn't black and white, you can be a little bit more creative, but it all depends on the gig.
What's most important is to get to learn about the job. So what's the company like? What is this role going to be really up to? And then maybe you can reflect your resume to that.
And even in the digital era, Nick says you should take a hard copy of your resume to a potential employer. You don't want to rely solely on online applications. It's all about, guys, building that direct connection. So even in 2019, like Scotty, you haven't applied for a job in years. You want to...
Because I could never get one.
Exactly.
I mean, at some point, you learn and just move on.
You're like, I'm staying put. A resume's still really important. I haven't, applied for a job in like 5 years, and so I thought maybe things have changed. No, that's your foot in the door. That's a first impression. So you want it to be looking good, formatted correctly, and not too, trendy.
Not too silly, right? And thinking about millennials, we think about younger people changing jobs and changing industries and being more fluid and flexible with their career plans now. So then it really is important.
Right.
How do you utilize the experience you have in one path and get
make it work for
make
the
it
next
sound
job.
right for the next thing, right?
Well,
so that's tough.
And nowadays, a lot of millennials, they change jobs more often. And so sometimes an employer might look at that and say, well, why have you had 5 jobs in 3 years? So
because I wanted all that experience.
Exactly. One page is also good. You don't want your resume to be 3-page. The one-page thing, still a good idea.
Cool.
They look at my resume and go, nobody else likes you, do they? No.
Crumple it up and throw it out.
I don't either. Get out of my office.
Job security is a wonderful thing.
Kylie, thank you.
Thanks, Kylie.